would you introduce yourself to the parole panel? Tell us your name, your DOC number, please, sir.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Wayne Carter, and my DOC number is 418686.
All right, Carter, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then we'll conduct a parole interview with you. First, I'd like to just acknowledge we got some folks here who indicated they want to today. We have Ms. Dawn Bacon and her father. She's on Zoom here in the room with us, and that we have Mr. John McCann, her father. And at the appropriate time, we'll ask them for their comments.
Yes.
First, let's do the preliminaries. Wayne Parker, your DOC number is 418666. You're classified as a fifth felon offender. You're currently serving a 5-year sentence, having been convicted as a habitual offender for domestic abuse battery. You received a 5-year sentence in March of 2022. Also, in March of 2022, another count, domestic abuse battery, for which you received a 1-year sentence. All that's running concurrently, so total 5 years. Your parole eligibility date is February 4th of this year. You do not earn this, so your full term date is February 2026. That information is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Seated to my right, we can answer this question.
Okay, Mr. Carter, how old are you?
I am 42.
What's your educational level?
I have 2 years college.
Okay. Mr. Carter, you've committed domestic abuse battery twice. Is it on the same young lady?
Yes, it was my wife.
Okay. The first time, according to the statement, you committed it, you choked your wife, had red marks around her neck, and you did this in front of the choke. Tell me about that incident. What happened right there?
That was the allegations, but me and her had a physical argument where we were both involved. You know, it verbally started verbally, and then it got physically. And so that was the allegations of the matter.
Were your kids there?
Excuse me?
Were children present?
There were children upstairs at the moment.
But why did you leave?
Excuse me?
Why didn't you just leave?
I mean, we both was just in the moment, emotions. When emotions get into play, sometimes, we can't rationalize, we can't think properly. So that would have been the best bet to do, rather than trying to both force our way, to be heard or to resolve the matter that we was arguing about.
Okay. On the second occasion, you violated a protective order. Is that true?
We did have a protective order. She had got a protective order so she could gain full residency of my home. Yes.
And the sheriff's office said they observed bruising on her face, arms, jaw. She had you on tape. And tell me what happened in that offense.
Me and her went out to dinner date, came home, we both, she was drunk, I had a drink, and at this moment, I actually went to leave. In the process of leaving, she came swinging on me personally. There was physical violence. I kind of blocked myself, but then we just got to the stuff where it just started. It was just a bad night where we both just got in a physical altercation.
Right. That's not good.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. Okay, I see where you were in the ship chat program before this time. Did you relapse? Why are you trying to go back through the program?
I would say it again. I'm sorry.
Okay, it looks like you went through our drug rehabilitation program.
I've never.
Never? This is your first time?
I'm doing Shy Chat. I've been sober 18 years. I haven't used drugs in 18 years. And we became social drinkers. We go out, we have dinner dates. Me and my wife still, was married 2.5 years. I still brought her out on dates regularly, weekly, and we just developed, the habit where we socially drink. And so before it's drug addiction, man, God set me free in 2005, 18 years ago from drug addiction. I have not picked up a drug since 2005.
Alcohol is considered a drug.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, and social drinking, if you consider yourself a drug addict, social drinking should not be allowed.
I
can't do it. Quit, you gotta quit.
Correct.
Okay. I'm looking at your supervision record. It's not really good. I mean, in 4/21/99, you You pled to misdemeanor possession of marijuana. You was on house probation. Later, you picked up another marijuana charge, and you tested positive, and you were revoked. Later in '99, in October, you pled to second offense marijuana, simple burglary, 2 counts, and you were sentenced to 3 years on each charge, all suspended, based on 2 years probation. The burglaries were car burglary. An attachment was filed. You failed to appear in court for payment of fines and court costs. You were arrested and returned to probation. And then you were later revoked with the original sentence on 3/26/2001, and you had some new felony charges pending. The third one was in 4/4/2003. That must have been the charges that probably got you revoked. You were released on parole. You committed new crime, and you were charged with armed robbery. You deferred your hearing, and you were revoked. Now, these charges look like they're still pending in Jefferson. Are those charges still pending in Jefferson?
Oh, no, sir. All that is totally completed.
Okay. Warden, do you know if they've been completed? Do y'all have any detainers on him?
Yes, sir. I can look those up. Right back.
Okay. We're going to continue. You were released again on 10/19/2015. Robbed a Circle K while you was on supervision, and you got revoked. Then during your next parole supervision, you were charged with sexual battery. Deferred your preliminary hearing, and on 2018, you were revoked. The sexual battery involved a woman known to Mr. Park. So actually, you knew this lady. Tell me what happened here.
So I stopped at a lifelong friend's birthday party that I grew up with right next door to me, and for a birthday gathering, and a female actually came on to me, sat down next to me while I was at the party, and put her hand like direct on my private part. And so I got up and left. That was it. That was it to the story. My wife was contacted the night before, the night after. And then like a week later, I'm headed to work, and I get pulled over by U.S. Marshals while I'm headed to work. And U.S. Marshals tell me I have a warrant out for my arrest for sexual battery. I went to court on the matter, was going to court on the matter. The girl, she filed a report and left the state because she didn't want to, she didn't, I don't know what was her thinking. I guess she didn't want to, continue with it. But yeah, she filed a police report on me and left the state. And so I went through the matter, was trying to fight it. Jefferson Parish did not want to drop the charge at all. My parish is big about conviction rate. Rather than dropping the charge on me because the victim don't want to come to court and stand in and be in court, they dropped the charge down and just had me cop out because I would have credit for time served to go straight home. So, honestly, God honest truth, nobody knows the truth between, this incident but me, her, and God himself. And so I did not violate this woman by no means. I was totally innocent in this matter. Totally innocent.
Did you fled to the charge?
Because I had credit, because I had enough time served, what they did, instead of dropping the charge, they just got the conviction and dropped the charge down to obscenity, made me cop out to the charge so I can go home. That's what happened.
Okay. Looks like you released on good time from that, and it expired on 12/2018.
Yes.
But then again, you pled guilty to obscenity on 2/28/19.
No, sir. That's the same incident. So the sexual battery charge was dropped down to obscenity.
Obscenity. Okay.
Beat it out to obscenity. So I had the option because they didn't want to drop the charge down. They didn't want to drop the charge on. So rather than just sitting in jail, I know it's like I was in a catch-22, but I had my elderly father at home at all times. No one there to take care of him. I had that was really my main responsibility. So I made the best decision that was best for me and my father. I pleaded out to the obscenity and went home and preached my dad's funeral 3 months later. That's what happened.
Okay. All right. The district attorney, Wayne Montgomery, is opposed. The sheriff is opposed. Your brother never responded. So we didn't get an answer from him. The victim is obviously opposed. Let's see. You know, your criminal history is very, very poor, to say the least, with a lot of violence and a lot of sexual offenses. What is going to be your transition plan? If you get out, where you going to live, where you going to work?
So at the moment, so I am a barber. I was involved in the barber industry, very successful. So my ultimate goal is to continue back into the barber industry. I'm actually in the network with a group of barbers where we're going to begin to start doing kind of barber school workshops. We have a team of barbers where we create different products, from 3D printers for clipper products. I'm actually, right before I was arrested, I was in the process of creating my own beard oil. So we're still dealing with like product lines for skincare and hair care. So that's like my ultimate purpose, man. I love it.
Where you gonna live?
Living situation is kind of complicated. All my family's deceased. My dad's house just got rebuilt because I was in jail. I have an older brother and older sister that wasn't taking care of their situation. So before I got married, I turned my dad's home, which would have been mine, but he still owed a little bit on it. So I turned it over to my niece to let my niece live on it. And I don't know the situation behind. So living situation is I've been connecting with the counselors and trying to do a sober living, maybe a celebrate recovery home or a sober living home, and just work my way and transition back into society.
I see you taking tons of classes, which is good.
Yes, sir.
What class you took that meant the most? What about the domestic violence program?
That is amazing. So I completed the domestic violence course with Ms. Mullins, and I continued in the class until I completed my child care program. The domestic violence course is dynamic. Just the literature, just the curriculum that we're actually working with, the 8 spokes, understanding the difference between coercion and threat, negotiation, fairness, just all the information that's given. Man, there's a variety of I would say essential principles that I'm taking from each course. Whatever I can to, work on my character personally. That's been the number one. The first thing into the program, I believe that was shame. It's just owning my story and telling my story. Because shame hates when words are wrapped around it. So I think the number one is just, dealing with the things that get in the way of me being more productive. Relationships, honestly, I've served a lot of time in jail. I grew up pretty much in jail from 20. I went to jail on the armed robbery at 23. Came home when I was 35. So there's a lot of things that I can say that I haven't learned with relationships, but I came home and I tried. And so, I think, the bravest thing I can do is just own my story and love myself in the process. That's the bravest thing I can do. And so there are a lot of principles that I'm taking from the program. The MRT class, where it deals with cognitive, behavior therapy, where it deals with our self-esteem and goal settings. Man, I set so many goals. I'm so proactive. And not just in the program, just the entire journey, period. I mean, everywhere I've stepped my hand, I've seen the hand of God just place someone around me that can benefit. I can benefit from, I can share with, I can open up to. We literally started a book club right here in the program with me and a couple guys. We invest in each other. We circulate books on business and economy, books on mental health, emotional health, books on leadership. So the program I'm working, I'm getting what I need to get, but I'm also investing in myself also, mostly spiritually. When I came home in 2015 from the armed robbery, I came home, I got married, I didn't do drugs, I was totally committed to the church. I served next gen nonprofits. I'm an ordained minister, I'm licensed and married. I was involved in so many positive things. And so my goal once I got here was to see, okay, where did I go wrong? I was on a good path, I was doing the right things until that I would just say that the pivotal point was when I was falsely accused by this woman. It totally destroyed my marriage. I was married before I was married to Dawn. It destroyed my marriage. It destroyed my ministry. I was very involved in ministry. I had a team just of pastors and leadership. I was very involved. That was very helpful to me. And so I think that was the real pivotal point. That was the shaming process, I think, really began well. It just really took for me. So I think the program's been great.
Okay, well, you took a lot of them. You got a high risk and a high need. We don't see that often. Warren, do you have any comments regarding Mr. Porter?
No, sir. We have not had any issues here, and I did not find any holes in our system.
Mr. Porter, I just got a couple questions, and then we'll hear from the folks that want to speak.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
heard you say you want to own your story. You want to tell the story.
Correct.
You had done that today. When we asked, Mr. Freeman asked you about what happened in the domestic issue, you blamed the victim. And the record does not support what you said happened. In the first instance was January of 21. You said the kids were upstairs, when in fact the reporter, the person who reported the incident, was the 11-year-old, who said she saw you put your hands around her mother's neck, and there was evidence. That's different than trying to block a blow. Then later in November, you said y'all had been out to dinner, she had some drinks, you had a drink. When the record indicates, while there was a protective order, you entered the residence without this permission, and you attacked her, held her down while she was in bed, strangled her, punched her in the face multiple times, and there's evidence to show those injuries. So you're not telling us the truth. You also said, when Mr. Freeman was asking you about another issue, you said they made you cop out when you pled guilty to something you didn't do. You said they made you cop out.
Right.
When you were referring to your father's house, which was repossessed, you blamed it on your brother and your sister. So everything that happens to you is somebody else's fault.
It's not that I'm not blaming anyone for my decisions or what I am in control of. That's not what I'm doing. I was just
okay. All right. I don't need your comments. I'm going to ask for the comments from the folks who have joined us this morning. First, we'd like to hear from Dawn. You say him?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. We'd like to hear what you want to say.
Okay. Wayne has a long documented history of violence. This began far before me. He spent 10 years for armed robbery, was released, and immediately reoffended. He went back to prison for 18 months for a sexual assault, none of which has to do with me, was released and immediately reoffended multiple times. He was able to reoffend multiple times because the system failed. Wayne strangled me. My air supply was cut off, and he promised, and I quote, to kill me one day. While incarcerated this time, he violated the protective order yet again. I have in my possession documents that he mailed not only to me, but to my 14-year-old daughter. If he violates in custody, he will most definitely violate outside. He himself just testified to you that he's not able to think clearly when he's in his emotions. That should tell you right there that he will re-violate, and I'm asking the system not to fail my family again. Please keep him in there.
We have a hand here. Good morning. All right, Mr. Carter, I think a brief statement that you'd like to before we go.
say it again. I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
You have the opportunity to make a brief statement if you'd like to before we vote. Is there anything you'd like to say before?
Yes, I am definitely remorseful. Every day, I struggle with my decisions, and I understand that there are some things that I do need to work on and do need to change. And I'm not trying to manipulate or hurt anybody. I'm not trying to intimidate her. I mean, she went her way. We divorced. She went her way. I went my way. And I understand that I can't change the past. I can't change anything that I've done. All I can do is work on my present moment and continue to try to just be better and do better. I apologize. I was not trying to come off as blaming anyone for my decisions. I really wasn't. I was just stating some facts and just explaining my overall situation to kind of give y'all, understanding of just some details and position. So, I apologize. I didn't mean to come off as blaming anyone for anything. I am here because my choices, no one else's. And so I just want to go back home and do better. That's all I want to do.
right. So I think we're ready to vote.
Okay, Mr. Porter, you have done some good things while you've been in jail. You take a lot of classes. You're in real good programs right now.
Correct.
You're for high risk. You're a moderate need, a high risk. You have a terrible prior record, criminal record and supervision record, very violent history. At this point, I just don't think you served enough time, and my vote would be to deny.
Mr. Ashback?
Mr. Porter, good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Porter, you have adamant victim opposition. The victim's family is adamantly opposed. The DA's office is strongly opposed. We have law enforcement opposition. We have a history of violence, forced vision history, a high risk assessment telling me that you're going to reoffend again. You have a moderate needs assessment, and you have a serious need for ongoing domestic violence treatment. You've taken the domestic violence program, but you need additional treatment for your violent nature. Based on all of these, I deem you a public safety risk, and I'm going to deny your parole.
To Mr. Porter, I do agree. My vote also is to deny for the reasons that have already been stated. So today, sir, your parole is denied. Goodbye.